Nathan Cleary, Joey Johns. What does Cleary have to do to surpass Johns as the greatest halfback of all time? Or has he already done so, in your opinion?
It's a really good question. It's a hard one to sort of debate these when you've got different generations. It's sort of like your McIvy D versus your Weeks sort of setup where both generations are great and the game's changed so much. Oh, I think there's 2 points. He hasn't won a Dally M yet, Nathan
Yep.
Cleary. Joey Johns did. I think that's a big point, which I didn't actually realise till this week. And I think the second thing is a bigger presence for the Australian team. I know Joey played, I think, 27 games for Australia.
Mm.
Cleary's only played five, and that's probably come down to injuries. Daly Cherry Evans been there. We've had a luxury of a lot of good players, but probably his presence and taking over that role as sort of number one halfback for Australia and
Yep.
winning Dally M's massive. I think comps, Clubland, Origin, he's probably on par already with Joey, but I think outside of that, Joey's probably on the wood and with a couple of accolades outside of that. So it's good debate, but he's only 25. He's trending that way. Like if he
Oh,
just keeps doing,
like exactly. Time's definitely on his
yeah,
side. Do you think though, like with the Dally M one in particular, like that award seems to have kind of fallen off a little bit in terms of its prestige? Like it's not as sought after as it once was as an individual accolade.
yeah, it's a hard one. It's sort of, especially with the Panthers, they've had such a good team that it generally goes like you look at the Nico Hines setup, you even look at the Jerome Hughes, you'll
Mm.
probably get this year. Sometimes it comes down to sort of the best player in maybe not the best side, just more
Yep.
so that you can actually stand out in that side. I know Storm been great, but Munster hasn't been there for a lot of years. Pappenhausen hasn't been there, so Hughes sort of stood up. So Cleary's had like an absolute glittering of stars around him. Plus, he's had a fair few injuries, and when you go deep into the finals and that, you sort of manage yourself throughout the year, which probably hurts your back end for Dally M. So I do agree with you. I think if everyone sort of said who was the best player in the game at the moment, I think it'd be Nathan Cleary for sure. But yeah, it probably has lost a little bit of it. But it's just probably the hard nature of actually winning it.
Do you reckon? Do you reckon if they win another grand final, if they win four in a row, and he cements his legacy in that regard, as the years go on, do you think the Dally M is something he then starts to chase almost as if it's the last sort of feather in the cap and it becomes a little bit more important to him if he hasn't won one in the next sort of 2 or 3 years?
He's won a Dally M halfback of the year, which yeah, it's a good question. I don't know how you do chase it. Like it's I guess it's an award that you probably get it not even thinking about it. Like if you think about it, I think it's probably a award that you maybe not get. Like I could see him probably go his whole career without getting it, just purely on the fact of like the players around him. Maybe next year loses Luai, but for him, I probably yeah, I don't think it's an award that people sort of have at their goal list for the year or something like that. I think it comes with playing good, winning a comp, doing all those good things, and then it probably is the accolade for that.
Would 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 four straight premierships and then three straight Clive Churchill medals sound better?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think if you weigh them all up as weight of what you want to win, you'd be State of Origin, win a comp, Clive Churchill, those sort of things. Like I think people remember that a lot more than like I couldn't really even tell you the Dally M's the last couple of years have been. Like you
Yeah.
obviously you look it up and you know a fair few, and sometimes I remember the Jared Hayne year or those years where there's that just out and out
Yep.
person who's 10 lengths above the rest, the Tommy Trowich year. But you remember the grand final and who stood up and go like Sam Burgess, Clive Churchill when he
Yep.
did his ice socket, like just phenomenal. Those sort of things I think mean a lot more and people remember.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.